Hello, and welcome to D20 Error, where we roll dice before one of our internet goes out. My name is Kate. I'm the DM.
I'm first. My name is Jess. I'm Nora, the human wizard.
My name is Jules, and I play Ren, the Elven Ranger.
My name is Miller, and I play... and my name is Miller, and I play Augie, the Paladin, you're good, /Warlock.
Ooh! Yes, we have two other party members, Alice, who plays Tam, the half-orc bard, and Maddie, who plays the tiefling druid /barbarian, who are not here today, but that's a-okay. God. So we just have a few quick announcements. First off, we have a TikTok, and it's kind of popping. So y'all should go check it out. It's at D20 Error, no space or anything, same as our Twitch and YouTube and all our affiliate links, social media tags. So go follow us on there. We're probably gonna do something if we hit 1,000 subscribers, friends, things on there, followers.
Yes,
I'm so good at technology. So go follow us on there for some fun TikToks. Yeah. Is that it? Is that all we have?
I think so. Do we have any self-care tips?
Probably. Last time was Rogue, right? Or was it Sorcerer?
Did we ever do Paladin?
Did we do Paladin?
I don't think so. Did we? We could have. I don't have a good memory.
We might not have. I don't know. I did not. I forgot about that. I'm gonna be honest. So I forgot to prep any tips.
Fine.
But in general, hey guys, take time for yourself. Take breaks. Self-care is super important. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Reading's been doing me wonders these past few weeks.
Reading has been doing me a lot of wonders as well. Definitely recommend.
I super thought you said breathing, and I was like, yeah, that's a good
That too. Yeah.
Sometimes, you're sitting there and you realize you haven't, you're holding your breath for some reason. So
every time I watch a movie or a show where characters go underwater at any point, I hold my breath with them, and I can't help it. It's not a decision. It's an instinct. I'm like, oh fuck.
I do it to see if I can last as long as them. So I'm like, do I have the stamina?
In D&D, this is something a little strange, is that you can hold your breath for the number of minutes of 1 plus whatever your constitution modifier is. So that means, if you've got a high constitution, you can hold your breath for 6 minutes, which I think is ridiculous, frankly.
I'll count that high. Oh, just 3.
But even holding your breath for 3 minutes is impressive in itself. So I just don't forget to breathe, you guys, basically.
Also, the live post.
Tip. Breathe.
And that's on Staying Alive. Okay. So, do we have any other announcements? Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'll describe what happened, and then since it's been a little bit, I will re-describe the surrounding area. I think I also got really freaked out at the end of last session, so I was like, it's a house, there's a bird, okay, bye. So I will go more in depth this time, I promise.
The bird! Yeah, the pigeon. A pigeon that's the size of a horse is... Yeah.
So, last we left off, our intrepid group of adventurers was crossing across Clea, the northern part of Clea, in an attempt to reach Owynn, a historian and known good boy who is going to help provide some more information on these things called the Elzahimnian Echoes, and potentially some more information just about the world in general. On the way, they face some trials and tribulations, including crossing through Val's hometown, including crossing through the field of desolation, I think it was. Big bad field. Aki died for a bit. It's fine.
Field of ruination.
And then ruination. That's right. I totally remembered that, and I totally remembered my own lore. And I'm writing that down. Crossing through a textile town where they had a really nice evening with a newfound family brought together by circumstance, and saw a town thriving and in this amalgamation era of the Feywild and the Primaterial Plane, and made their way across a scape of some mountains where they finally reached the house of who they may be Owynn, maybe not. But let me describe what you see in front of you. So before you is a large ramshackle beachfront cabin raised high on stilts with a rickety staircase kind of leading up and around to a door frame. Around the side, there appears to be a large stable-like building kind of built into the brush and kind of nature before it hits the beach itself. And the stable looks to be recently built, as there is a small pile of wood and tools sitting right near the entrance to there. The shack and the stable both have walls and a roof made of weathered wood that is slickened and warped from years of sea salt. Currently, however, the thing capturing your attention is the talons gripping and jutting into the structure. The tips themselves are a bright orange and fade into the slate gray as the skin trails up the legs and reaches to the body of this creature, which is covered in stark white feathers with its wings kind of flapping as it settles on the building. And it looks to be a very large seagull.
Eagle?
Seagull. Mm-hmm. I might have said pigeon. I get them confused sometimes. I apologize. Seagulls are pigeons of the sea, so I stand by it. I'm just gonna say.
Fair.
Watch as it kind of flaps for a second. Its eyes are piercing, and it seems to move its head and kind of focus in on you guys, and you hear its loud piercing like.
Has Ren heard of a giant seagull before in his studies?
Make an Arcana check.
In his study.
His studies? 12.
12. You've heard of seagulls. This is certainly a seagull. It appears to be larger. It's not a thing that is a regular occurrence in Elzahim.
This is an irregular seagull.
Mm-hmm. So it's not making any aggressive attack toward you right now. It's kind of got its wings back, kind of just staring at you guys right now, waiting to see any movement or what you guys are planning on doing.
Ren's gonna reach into his feed pouch for Moroth and just sort of be like, and like toss it off to the side.
What are you throwing?
Some like seeds for Moroth. Whatever Moroth's feed looks like, I don't actually know. What do you eat?
Just roll roll dexterity for me. Just
Sure.
not a saving throw or anything. Just dexterity to see if
Natural.
Natural 1. Okay. You throw it, and you're so stealthy with it, like you're used to being very stealthy, and you kind of throw it, doesn't even notice, just has its eyes trained on you.
But Moroth's like,
yeah, Moroth kind of like,
the fuck, dude?
slyly, like not taking his eye off, kind of moves over and kind of bends down.
Well, that worked super good. You're not Owynn, are you? Probably
It
not.
looks like a good boy. Very well could be.
Is any bird a good boy?
Right about this time, you watch and hear as the door of the shack swings open and kind of slams against the wall, and a befuddled humanoid figure kind of stumbles out. The figure has his back to you, but he's wearing a very large red robe that's kind of flapping with the sea wind. And he's shaking his hand up in a fist at the large bird and shouts, "Shelly, we've been through this before. You can't keep landing on the roof."
Shelly?
Yes. Shelly does not seem to be paying any attention to him, but instead is still has its eyes are just trained on you. Kind of noticing this, the figure turns around, and what you see is a middle-aged dragonborn. His face and hands are covered in scales of an almost tarnished kind of silvery gray color, and his eyes are a similar steel gray to the rest of his scales. He's wearing a cream-colored vest that is stretched very taut over his portly belly, and the robe he's kind of wearing is kind of flapping and is tied with just a simple red tie that matches with the rest of the robe. And he kind of looks over and kind of takes a moment to take you all in, and before he shouts, "Who are you? What do you want?"
We're travelers. We seek information.
Look, I've already told the marsh vendors I'm not interested in selling the house. I don't care how much the offer is this time. The answer is no.
We don't want your house. We just want to speak to you.
Oliver sent us?
Yeah, Oliver sent us. That's not the name I was looking for in my notes or anything.
Wait. And he kind of watch him drop his defense a little. He goes, "Oliver sent you?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nora, can you roll a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Oh, no.
You're muted, by the way.
Thanks. That's 19.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just need to see the specifics of the spell for a second.
Hold on, let me just double check my modifier. I guess if it's just a pass.
What did you roll naturally?
I roll. Yeah, it is 19. I roll 17.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you watch as he kind of moves his hands and has you see a small glint of something in his hand. He kind of, and he puts that away, and then you see him kind of trace another symbol with his hands, and he says, actually, he's kind of quiet about it, but actually, Ren, because you've got the perceptive feat, you see his lips, they kind of say, "Really? You sent a bunch of kids to check up on me without warning? You forgot you could just send a message. You forgot you could just send a message, old man." And you see for a moment, you don't hear anything, but you watch as he just kind of rolls his eyes, and he says, "Well, I'm sorry that entitled asshole made you walk all the way here and didn't just let you use the teleportation circle or give me a heads up. Yeah, come on in." Kind of turns around and walks back to the door.
Hello.
Yeah. Very good boy. Wow.
He kind of, without turning around, he shouts, "Feel free to use the stable for your pets. There's not a lot of space in here."
Roth, if you'd like to stay out here, you can. Up to you. The horses, though, should be tied up. We have the horses with us. Yeah, we have the horses with us.
Yes.
You don't have the cart, but you have the horses.
Yeah.
Or the giraffes. No. Wait, did you leave the giraffes?
Brought
Or
the
did you
horses.
take...
Yeah. We brought the horses,
Okay.
not the giraffes. Sadly.
All right. And yes, you've got the horses. So do you take them to go be tied up in the stable? Okay. As you enter the stable, you see that there are not horses in there, but instead are more of these large seagull creatures that appear to have individual pens. They're a bit larger than normal horse stables, and they've got a lot more space for their wings and stuff to be able to properly move. You kind of hear them all. A few of them, as you enter, a few of them caw. It's a bit loud, but it's not disconcerting. They seem to be overall kind of chilled out in here.
Okay.
This is a thing.
All right. But eventually, you guys come back and says, yeah, you're welcome to come in. Don't mind the mess and don't move anything around too much. I've got a very specific organization system, and it's going to take me years if you move anything. He kind of opens the door for you guys to come in.
Cool.
So,
So entering the shack, it is a spread and cacophony of papers and books and used dishes that kind of gives the story of a man who's lived on his own for a very long time. To the left, as you enter, there's a large glass-paned window with a little ledge to sit on that has major water damage and is just covered with plants and herbs growing out of small pots and cups. And there are a few open books that have large leather bookmarks sitting across the spines with lots of scribblings and writings and circlings in the margins and things like that. Across the rest of the kind of place in general, it is just ramshackled. In the far back wall, there appear to be bookshelves, floor to ceiling, that are covered in books with stacks of books sitting up on top of them. And Nora, because you're very familiar with libraries and stuff, you kind of take a second to glance and notice that there are these large piles of different papers and scrolls and books that seem to be kind of clustered together. And you realize that they're organized by topic. So over on the windowsill, there's kind of one topic. There's more. There doesn't seem to be any particular rhyme or reason as to where the clusters are, but however, inside the clusters, they're all clustered together by the topic that it seems to be. Owynn himself is kind of running around and grabbing used dishes and kind of like crusted over plates and bowls and kind of tossing them into the sink, kind of a little embarrassingly trying to clean up the mess. He was not expecting guests. And as you enter, there's a little umbrella stand by the door that has some bits and bobs and different things sticking out of it. There's one umbrella and then some other looking rods and things like that.
Okay.
As you come in, he says, sorry about earlier. I'm not used to many visitors and just was thrown a bit off guard. So, can I offer you coffee? Or
Sure.
Sure.
all right. I don't have any milk or anything, so sorry. He goes over to the kitchen area and kind of sweeps some dirty dishes into the sink. There's a bit of crashing and begins to pull out a coffee pot and puts it on the stove.
He's
So
gonna.
what's with the butts?
Oh, yeah. After the amalgamation happened, there was an increase in particular. There was a change in the general atmosphere and the makeup of the chemicals in the atmosphere, and it caused a bit of dilation in certain animals and objects. You know, Feywild brings an increase in oxygen, which causes some things like bugs and birds and things of that nature to kind of fed them before, so now they're a bit bigger and require a bit more food than normal.
Huh. Does that seem right to Ren?
Roll an insight check.
Okay.
What is my insight? I don't know. What is it?
Okay, 19.
Okay. He doesn't seem to be disingenuous in any way.
I'm not sure why he bullshit about this particular thing. So
It doesn't. He's not like an evil secret person trying like experimenting and making them grow bigger. Like, seems like he genuinely was a middle-aged older man who just fed his birds and was left alone. And then all of a sudden the birds got bigger, and now he's like built a stable, built a shed for them.
Nice.
Actually, as you mentioned that, he kind of looks up and says, "Can you pass that bowl to me over there?"
Okay. Yeah.
He takes it and kind of puts it underneath where like a now open hole in the roof where one of the talons kind of went through. I'll fix that later.
Does anyone have mending?
No. Sam does, I think.
I have mending. It just takes a little bit, so I'll get to it later. So, how'd you get to know that prick Oliver?
Were you trying to say something, Moggy? You said.
I just wanted to introduce myself.
Oh yeah.
I can just stick out his hand.
Firm handshake. Business-like. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
I'm Owynn.
Sorry. Yeah, we're that's Tam and I always get them mixed up. It's Tam and Val. 3-letter names. They have an A in the middle. Just happens. I'm Ren.
Pleasure. Owynn. Nice to meet you all. So Oliver, how'd you get to know him? I'm sorry, by the way.
Well, we were sort of sent by, I don't know if you've heard of the Magic Guild of Valashi.
Yeah, I heard of him.
We were sent by them after the amalgamation hit to rescue Oliver and try and get some information about the amalgamation and what the fuck to do about it. And then Oliver, in turn, sent us to you. So that's sort of why we're here.
Welcome. Yeah, I've been researching for quite a bit. Interesting stuff. What can I help you with? What do you guys know about this?
So we were sort of tasked with these. We kind of want to reverse it.
Makes sense.
So we were told about the echoes of Elzaheim and how bringing those together may or may not pop whatever bubble is around us.
Who told you about those?
Oliver.
God damn. Excuse me for one moment. And he kind of hops over some of his piles and goes into another room for a second.
Can I hear what he's saying? If you're sending that.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Motherfucker. Are we in a forest?
No,
We're on a beach.
My passive is higher. I rolled 5, so it's 11.
Okay. You're kind of distracted. The water that he was boiling for coffee begins to kind of make the high-pitched kettle noise, and you can't really make out what he's saying, but you hear a lot of yelling.
Okay.
And then you hear quiet for a second. Then you hear another thing being sent out, and you hear more yelling. And then you just see him come back in and goes, "Great. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to all of you about that. You said you were tasked with reversing it? Who?
It was sort of the Magic Guild. Flashy's real fucked up right now. We were at the sort of, there's this weird ceremony that interrupted a festival. We were there when it like happened. And it's clearly like an intentional move by some sort of organization, and we'd really like to combat it because they don't seem to have good intentions. Also, something about gods dying. It's all very confusing.
Yeah. God has told us that we need to do this, correct? Or implied?
Yeah, it's a lot of different forces have sort of pointed us in this direction, so we're just sort of doing it because it seems like we probably should, I think.
Well, first off, don't let the gods tell you that you need to do anything. They're just as useless as the rest of us. So if you don't want to do something, you don't have to. Just saying. But yeah, let's talk. And he goes over. Poor Augie, sorry. Goes over and starts pouring the coffee into some cups. One of them's a bowl. Like he doesn't have a lot of clean dishes, so he kind of passes those out. It's black coffee, so no cream or sugar or anything. But if you try it, it's very good. Very, very strong coffee, but yeah, it's really high quality coffee. A lot of caffeine.
Okay.
He goes, all right, so let's start with the echoes. Do you know anything about them other than the fact that they exist?
Yes. We know that they're powerful. They exude very strong magical forces. They're scattered around the continent. A lot of
that's one way of putting it.
Okay. The civilizations have been established around it. They have great importance. That's the gist we kind of got.
Yeah,
we don't really know what they are. Yeah.
All right. Well, the Elzahimnian echoes are artifacts from very long ago. They existed before the creation of Elzaheim. In fact, they are the reason that Elzaheim exists. Legend has it that the gods placed them into the swirling sea, and from that erupted the 11 regions of Elzaheim. And when the world was populated, the first rulers emerged, and the struggle for power resulted from their greed that has existed until even now. This is legend, of course, but legend usually is versed in truth. And the truth is that supposedly, if these echoes even do exist, they are steeped in legend. That they are the things that created Elzaheim themselves. Now, whether the gods are in charge of that, I don't know. Not my prerogative. But they are objects of incredible power. So much so that they were too powerful to be kept in just one plane of existence themselves. So they were spread across Elzaheim into the mirrored planes as well, both Fae and Shadow, as well as the Prime Material. And they are great and powerful and can do a lot of good, but mortals and humans and things of that nature, being around them too long tends to corrupt the mind a bit, makes people a bit greedy. And that is reflected in our good old history that we've seen throughout.
So are there 11 then for each region, or do you know how many?
As far as we know, yes. If there are more, well, we haven't heard of or seen of them. Again, these are legends. We don't really know what any of them look like. But supposedly, if one were to bring them all together, it could cause the owner to gain incredible power beyond even the gods themselves. There's been tell that if there are 11, there may be less, there may be more, bringing them all together will cause the creation of an overgod.
Oh. Okay. So, I'm conflicted about that. It doesn't sound like super great, because like we don't need another power at work here. We need something to fix what has been done.
Well, that's the rub. You can honestly, if you were tasked with ending this, realistically, the best way is to get those echoes and utilize that power to cause the rift once again between the mirrored planes. The danger with that is that the more in your possession, the more you become a target for people who may be trying to become an overgod.
So this amalgamation, we have thought of it as the prime material plane in the Feywild. Is the Shadowfell also part of this?
Not from my research. And he kind of goes over to one of the piles and pulls up and says, now there are certainly portals and phases that can shift to the Shadowfell, but I haven't really seen any right now. If you want my speculation, and I must admit this is simply nothing more than speculation, I'm unsure if this is true. An overgod it's something that even the gods themselves are subjected to. And an overgod isn't quite the same way we think of as gods. Examples of overgods are those of fate, morality, order, and chaos. If someone or something ascends to that, it could be the creation of despair or the creation of hope. It really depends on the soul essence of their being and what they decide to do. It could have instrumentally good or instrumentally awful ramifications depending on who it is. My guess is that an organization or order or something did this ritual and combined them to try and gain access to both the Fae and Prime echoes.
So you think this order is also after the echoes?
Most certainly.
We don't know a lot about the order, but we do know about a shifty figure that may or may not be connected. Have you heard of the Black Widow? It's a figure in Balashi, but I don't know how widespread the word is.
I'm certain there's a lot of shifty orders and things of that nature. That's not really my area of expertise. However, I know that there's the Spider Queen.
I think that's the
Maybe
same.
something like
Yeah, I think that's the same. Probably, maybe the same entity. Do you know what the Spider Queen is?
Make a religion check.
Me? Oh boy. 16.
Okay. You have heard tell of the Spider Queen, also known as Lolth, the Dark Mother and the Queen of Spiders. She is a chaotic, evil god or goddess of spiders, shadows, and lies. And her symbol is that of the 8-pointed star. And is is commonly worshipped by elves and yeah.
Sorry, how did you spell her name? I just heard lol,
Lol.
like LOL.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's LOL and then TH at the end.
Oh,
Ah.
yeah.
Lol.
Okay.
That makes slightly more sense than just.
Her name is Lol.
Lol.
Lol JK. So.
Okay. Do you think that this so do you think that Lolf would be motivated to climb the ranks to Overgod? At the heart of this.
Maybe, honestly, the concept, if this is truly why this amalgamation happened, there's going to be a lot of deities, both good and evil, after that control. If it is Lolth, she could cause the world to descend into shadow or hatred or despair.
Great.
She would not be a good overgod. Let's put it lightly.
So, in order to reverse what's happening, would one of us need to become an overgod, or is it just using the power of the artifacts?
I'm certain that there's multiple ways, but when you're dealing with the entire planes of existence, you need to harness the power that created those planes of existence in the first place. Generally speaking.
Okay.
Out of character, my brain just pictured all of us like Voltroning as like one single Overgod.
Out of character. You could fully do that if you so wish, if you succeed in this.
Okay. So we're just sort of low-key competing against several deities to try and find these echoes. That's no pressure.
Yeah, not at all. Which is, again, why I'm sorry that you feel as though Oliver and whoever you're working with tasked you with this. It's monstrumentally difficult. And look, I'm just going to say, if you don't want to do this, there's nothing that is there's no reason that you have to. I personally am a big purveyor in free will. So if you choose not to, who's going to stop you?
Yeah, but who's going to stop them?
The man's got a
Someone
point.
else will come along.
Listen, as much as I love that idea, we're a little bit far into the game now. Augie literally went to hell, so...
Yeah, we've put a lot into this. I don't think we're going to back out now.
Well, all right then. And he kind of rummages around and so, okay, for a second, guys. Hi. So I'm really excited because I'm commissioning my friend to make us a map. However, she's not done yet, but I'm very excited. So when when that happens, I will be able to send this to you. But for right now, it's all in your imagination. Anyway, but he comes over and brings you this gorgeously, wonderfully made map of Elzheim. It's absolutely impeccable. It looks so good. It's high quality craftsmanship, and says, so here are the 11 regions that I've got that exist, and kind of point them out. And he says, this map is one that I've spent a while working on this and chanting this, and it should, with any luck, kind of create sigils and symbols when it detects or is near to one of these echoes. Will kind of create it on the map. I can tell you right now, though, that based on my readings and research, that you'll probably find these places in the heart of each of these regions, maybe near political entities or near the capital. Most likely it'll be very close to whoever's in authority or in charge, and especially if they appear to be more corrupted or kind of evil in terms of intention, we'll probably have it closer to them on their person. Hey guys.
Augie and Ren are just like, God damn it.
God damn it.
That's so funny.
It kind of notices and so, is that an issue for you guys?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Sorry, continue.
All right. As you bring them, if you manage to even get your hands on one, it has incredibly strong properties. So you will, as you collect more of them, and if you get your hands on 2 or even 3, their power will begin to collect. So I would recommend keeping them away from each other as much as possible, either with your own portable dimensions or things of that nature. They'll be very powerful and very helpful on your journeys, but after a while, they might begin to corrupt the mind. So if you value your sanity, maybe watch out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are more powerful than others. So just be cautious of that as well.
Kate, is there anything, can Augie think of anything that would, anything at all?
Why don't you roll a gosh dingity little history check for me there?
Me too.
Yeah, go for it.
Gosh dang it.
23.
Not 20.
All right.
Hey.
Let's start with Augie
24.
first.
Damn.
In your life and in your period of living with your father, you know that in Clea, the thing that the monarchy values most is strength. And nothing says strength more than the great sword that your father and his father and the ruler before that has wielded. And you know that in terms of the great sword, there is this gorgeously beautiful hilt. Let me pull up my notes. I should have had this and I closed out of it. Ugh, I closed out of it on accident. But yeah, I know it's the hilt. I just want to make sure I know the color. I want to get the color correct. You know that there is this golden gem that is inlaid into this hilt of kind of gold, while the rest of the blade itself is silver and jagged. This the hilt is incredibly detailed, and really it almost seems to reverberate with the power that it wields. All right, Ren. In Hagish, you know that the thing that the monarchy values most of all is ambition and being cunning, and that power and of manipulation and being able to outsmart the enemies. Nothing symbolizes it more than the bright blue sapphire that sits in the heart inlaid of the monarch's throne. It's one that you've seen many times. It sits above in the throne room. Kind of think of the Arkstone from the Arkenstone from The Hobbit. Very similar to that. And it's the thing that symbolized, I should say, the monarch's power in Haggish. Because both of you rolled so dang well. Good job. And I'll roll for... Yeah, no. Tam doesn't know about Hegel. All right. So both of you kind of think for a moment, and those simultaneously, those two symbols kind of pop into your mind with both a sense of realization and an immediate sense of dread, realizing that that may be what you're looking for.
Well, I think I know somewhere we can look.
Yeah, me too.
So, question, just sort of general question, because I don't remember. You probably have let us know before, but how much do we know about what the hell is happening in Haggash right now? Because, like, I know there's turmoil. Like,
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
I mean, you know that there was an uprising. You know that it happened, and you escaped, and you're free to ask.
Yeah. Hey, Owynn.
Yeah.
Just sort of curious. Do you have any news on like Haggash, like who's in charge and what's happening there politically and stuff?
Yes, I do. Where did I put it? Where the fuck did I put it? The issue with being really organized is I have like folders in folders and folders and folders.
Yeah.
And it takes me a second to like click through them all. Here we go. What he knows about Haggish. Okay. And he says, well, in charge is currently, I know there's a man named Vesrin Hamir who is currently serving as ruler and dictator after the family there was murdered in a rebellion. There was a rise up, and now Vesrin Hamir is in charge. And I know that Kar Effergrim serves as the right-hand man and kind of head of security. I'm going to be honest, it's almost like an information void. Not much gets in and not much gets out. Although, guessing from that, I don't know what's happening there, but I don't think they're having a grand time up there as of now. They were liberated from the monarchy and now are served under a dictatorship. So I don't know which is better and which is worse. I have heard that people are disappearing, though.
Well, that's nothing.
And that's cause for alarm.
Has Ren, like, does he recognize either of those names, Vesrin, and Kar?
Laura?
Make a history check. Nora. Nora, you know who those are.
Oh.
I've
Yeah,
said them.
I got you. I got on that 20 anyway, so I definitely know.
You know you recognize those names instantly and know exactly who they are.
Fuck. Hold on. Let me find my document.
I think it's called like What Nora Knows or something like that.
Yeah, okay. I think it's in the notes of my D&D stuff.
I want one of those for Ren, but it's just blank.
Say the names again, Kate.
Okay. It's Vesrin, Vesryn.
Yeah.
Hamir, Haemir. He's currently serving as the ruler, but not a king or a monarch, simply leading the people currently. And then Kar Effergrim, Kar, last name, Efer Grim, Grim, is the head of security, kind of like, yeah, head of police state kind of thing.
Do you know these people, Nora?
Yeah, the leaders of the rebellion group.
Are they good people? I'm kind of guessing not based on what they did, but
I mean, that's
are
what's
they better than...
rebellion you were on. They killed a whole house of people, and innocent people at that, so yeah. Veteran's this drow guy.
I think he's a son. I think he's a sun elf.
He's a sun elf?
Yeah.
Oh, I have him as drow in my notes.
Ooh. No.
Okay, never mind.
He's a sun elf.
Cool.
Yeah, because he has because he's got brown hair, so he's sun elf.
Okay, my bad. And then the other guy is a Goliath. They're just, a tag team, and they led the rebellion.
What were like the idea? What were their ideologies? Like, what do you know anything about how they plan to rule?
No, I just
with a natural 20. They preached. They preached like that the monarchy was evil and needed to be taken down. However, I mean, like with a natural 20, overhearing their stuff, you got the sense that they were planning on instating themselves in power. It's very like, it's very Glorious Revolution-esque. Yeah. But just more evil and blatant.
Yeah,
okay, so they suck.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they suck.
All right, I'm gonna put that in capital letters.
They suck.
Okay.
I mean, it's not surprising. They didn't seem the type to, win power and then give it to someone else.
No. Well, I think I know a place to look in my family's home.
If it's still standing, you mean?
Well, I think this bit will be. What about you, Augie? You look like you had a bit of a epiphany.
Yeah. I know where one is too.
Right.
And yeah, I think we know where that might be. What's been happening there for the past 6 months in the in the capital here?
Can you speak up a bit, Miller? You're a little quiet.
What has anything happened in the past 6 months in the capital?
I'm guessing you're asking Owynn.
Owynn, yeah.
Okay. He goes, past 6 months? Well, I know that the king is raising an army. Has been for a while, though. That's nothing new of 6 months. In the past couple days, though, I've been hounded a bit He's looking for spellcasters, which is particularly strange. I have a permit, but I know that he's been searching for that, which is unique if you've ever heard or known King Canterbury, which, judging by your expression, I'm guessing you know all too well.
Okay.
This map that you have, is there any way we could borrow it or buy it or use it?
I mean, I was giving it to you, but if you want to buy it, coffee is expensive, and I'm glad to take anything. He kind of chuckles to himself at that. And he goes, I'm happy to take some money in exchange for, coffee. Maybe even like as simple as $3 worth. Or
$3. 3 magic bucks.
3 magic bucks for a coffee.
Thank
you. I just came up with that joke.
Are you sure that's all you ask? I mean, you're doing us a big favor.
Well, I'd really appreciate, in all actuality, I deal in knowledge. It's what I went to college for. Would love to just be kept in the loop, kept in the know-how. And if possible, I would love to just examine one, even for just a little bit. I've spent years of my life researching them, and if they actually prove to be fruitful, I think that would be an interesting intellectual conversation to have.
At the very least, Tam over here has the ability to send you messages so we can keep you apprised. I think we could try to bring you what we find, but it might not be convenient. This country is difficult a little bit, but we can try. I don't know if that's the promise we can make, but we can promise to keep you appraised. Whichever one is right.
Well, in return, then perhaps I can offer you a bit more. And you watch as he kind of goes over to the umbrella stand and takes out 2 rods, one of which looks to be slick and neat, and kind of sets that down. And takes one that looks to be a bit more homemade. It's kind of made, the central part is made of wood, and then it has a lot of attachments and metallic kind of things that are emulating around, made in a bunch of different looking like scrap pieces of metal and things like that. Tosses that down. Goes over to the kitchen, finds a jug, and kind of places it over. And he goes, I've got a few more things around here, but I can offer magic items if you so wish. There's a lot more around here, and it'd take me a second to compile them all, but let me know what you need.
Well,
saving the world and shit,
What are these?
Well, let's say I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Got about 14 magic items on my person. I'll offer you the use of 3.
Sorry, go ahead.
One that I would recommend you taking is this echo detector. It's my own personal design. Very similarly so. When these things tend to affect reality a lot, and if the map isn't picking it up, the map gives you the general location, but it'll tend to spin if it gets near something that's causing reverberations in reality itself. If you are searching for these particularly, I would recommend that. This right next to it it's a rod that and he holds it up and he clicks the base and he says, when you click that and he lets go and it stays in its location. He says, "You can try really hard to move it, but probably won't move."
So you would call it like maybe an immovable rod?
It's a good name for it.
Yeah.
And then he's got a with the jug. He comes over and he says, "This is an interesting thing. It will basically, you speak what you want it to create, and it will give you different kinds of liquid that you can pour out of it."
This is what Grog had, right? In campaign 1 of Critical Role, he had a jug. I filled it with mayonnaise. Okay, we're gonna.
Yes, actually, yes, yeah, yeah. You can make mayonnaise if you want. You can also make water or wine or oil or beer or acid or poison. A lot of different things, but I mostly use it for fresh water and coffee.
Sorry, keep going.
You go.
There's one thing that would be very useful if you have anything like this, would be something that allows for disguise magic.
It says, "I'm gotta be honest, I live alone. I don't see a lot of people. I have no use for disguise magic. I do have some other stuff. If you'd be interested in me getting out all of my items. It'll take me about 20 minutes to find them all in this mess, but I'm more than happy to do so if you are interested in more."
I think we may as well, yeah. I have something that I've been carrying for a long time that I really don't know what to do with, and maybe you would be interested in it. So, this is a dragon egg that I've just sort of had in my pocket. Do you want this? I don't know what to do with it. I hope it's not dead.
I'm not a zoologist, I'm a historian, but I'm happy to take a look at it.
That would be good. I just sort of, yeah. I've had it for a while, and it's a dragon egg.
You take it out and hand it over?
Yeah, I'll just...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's an interesting color. I will put it down, kind of pats it, and says, "Well, I guess that means I can probably spare a fourth item, maybe. Wait here. Let me go find my stuff." And you see him kind of fumbling around. Occasionally, like he disappears. Actually, you watch as he opens a door, and there's a set of stairs that leads down, which is interesting because you did not see stairs nor a lower floor in this home. But he goes down, and you hear crashing and fumbling down there as well. And he comes back, kind of compiling this stuff a while later, and you see, all right, just a heads up, there's a lot, so you might want to write them down so you guys can figure out what you want to take. There is, what you see is a bag of holding, and you are aware that this is a bag of holding. You see a broom that just appears to be just a broom. You see a cap that kind of has these kind of watery looking elements, and yeah, it looks as though it's like kind of, if you look closely, you see the cap itself almost appears to have crashing waves on it. You see a large rolled up carpet that is sitting there. A kind of, let me describe these correctly. You see a headband that is very gaudy, and it has this small, almost diamond in the center. It's white sapphire, actually. It's ethically sourced. And it has this gold detailing that kind of trims up and around it and also down that looks like a headpiece. Where is it? Sorry, we're getting there. I should have marked all these in my book, and I did not. You see what appears to be a large orb that's blue and kind of is very shiny, and on the inside looks as though it has this kind of swirling pattern with purples that appear to be drifting in and out. You see a large, thick tome made of clay on the outside and has what looks like a kind of like large humanoid figure standing on the front. There is a stick with a large circle next to it kind of attached that looks as though it's got kind of magnifier glass, but looks to be made of more gemstone than anything else. And you see an amulet that hangs down, and let me get to that as well. It's that kind of has like almost an amber eye with a sigil in the middle and a chain around it. He goes, this is what I've got. I might have some more books that I can probably offer as well with different spells of that nature, but this is what I've got.
What does all of it do? I mean, we know what the bag of holding is, but what does like everything else do?
The broom and the carpet both have similar things that will allow you to lift up in the air and fly around for a bit. The cap will help you if you're going underwater or anything like that to be able to properly take the H2O and transform it into breathable air. The orb is kind of interesting. Oh my god, I just went away from it. It allows you to cast light spells and illuminate different rooms that may be dark. This gem here, which he pulls up the gem with the stick, and he says, this will allow you to see things as they truly are for a certain amount of time and up to a certain thing. This book, and he says it's a bit higher magic, but it allows you to create things that will help to protect you and guardians. And this amulet is something that will allow people to not be able to look in on you or know where you're located. And kind of throws that all down. He goes, that's what and then I've also got different spell books if you so wish.
What's this headband here?
Yeah.
Oh, that headband helped me a little bit when I was still honing my skills. It allows you to just focus your mind a bit more, makes you a bit sharper, makes you a bit quicker to things. It's a headband of intellect. It increases your intelligence modifier.
Okay. Beauregard has that critical role.
Oh,
okay. Well,
it's just a bunch of stuff from.
Makes sense. Well, I think flying is really cool. I do the jug, entertainment value, but also sometimes really useful, I think.
I agree. Also makes very good tea. I'm not a big fan of it, but the only tea that I've ever enjoyed has come from that jug.
Okay, all right. If you said that it would be good for us to store these, what the fuck are they called? Echoes in pocket dimensions, right? Like bags of holding.
That is one such a way that you could hold it.
And you think it would be best if we store them in separate pocket dimensions? Or does it matter?
If at all. Well, they tend to attract. They're made of energy, so they tend to attract energy as well. So the more you have out and the more you use them, the more likely you are to come across energy seekers, energy vampires, if you will.
Right.
Like actual vampires.
It's possible.
Right.
You said we could take 4, is that correct? With the dragon?
Yes. With all due respect, I would give you all, but I do need some of these in my day-to-day life, and
That's fair.
this is the stuff I'm willing to part with, to say the least.
The carpet, do you know how many it can carry?
And he rolls it out, and let me double check. I keep closing my book, and I should just stop doing that. Yeah, he takes it and he kind of rolls it out. It's got a bit of dust on it, and it's about. Let me just make sure, because I can do this. This is so exciting. Oh, okay. It's about 4 by 6 feet. And he says it's less about how many people it can carry, more about weight, but this can carry about 395 pounds, give or take. So let's call it an even 400.
Okay.
So probably about 3 or 4 people, depending on the size.
Okay. Well, that's certainly useful. What do you guys think? Have any of these things stood out to you as particularly desirable, better than flying?
I mean, flying's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do also have an assortment of spell books, I want to clarify, that are not here right now, but I'm happy to find them somewhere in this mess.
Would we be able to? So Nora probably has some interest in that. Could she copy? Can you copy stuff down, Nora, or do we need to take the spell books?
Can I, Kate? It would take me a while, right?
It'd take you a while, but you probably could.
I mean,
So
yeah.
you can take the spell book. What he's offering is you can take the spell book and then you can copy it down that way. Or if you guys wanted to stay here for a while, you could probably copy it there as well.
So do the spell books count among our 4 things that we're taking?
Yes.
So maybe we stay for a little bit, so you can copy spells. So we can take a carpet and a jug and a bag of holding. Unless there are other things that you guys prefer over carpet and jug and bag of holding. Those are my 3 that I think would be the most practical.
Yeah, and that's only 3, so then we can just take the spell book.
Well, there was also the echo detector that he said we should take.
That would be pretty helpful.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can stay here for a bit, come up with a plan.
Sure. Yeah. For now.
I don't have a lot of food. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I've got coffee. I've got a lot of coffee.
We can make do for ourselves. It's all right.
Great. If you want some time to think on it as well, I don't have space or food, but I have a roof, and I have books.
That's all one really needs.
I agree.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll stay just for a little bit so our wizard can catch up on some reading and so we can figure out, we can talk amongst ourselves about which of these items you've generously offered we actually want to take. Yeah.
Okay. Since we are missing basically half of the party, would you guys like to end there so that you guys can have the chance to talk when everyone's back together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So then we will end there. Nice short session.
God.
That was a lot of fun.
Yay!
Before we go, is there anything I can clarify from the, like, is there anything you guys are confused on that I can answer?
I'm always confused. So
Are there 11 countries on the continent? I don't remember.
There are.
Okay. So the underbrush doesn't necessarily count as one of those, so we probably don't need
No,
to
but
look.
they could be underground or
Okay.
above
Okay.
ground or higher than above ground. They could be up
Oh,
in
boy.
the sky.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, what else? Do I have any more questions? One thing I was wondering, I don't remember if we got this information, but did we have any leads on who that order that made this happen are? Beyond maybe they're connected to the spider lady? Which might just be me projecting. Don't remember if we got any information on them.
I don't think we did. I don't think
I don't
we
think
ask
so.
Okay.
We can ask that next time.
Yeah.
It's a very secretive organization, is what I will say.
okay.
Do I remember they were wearing uniforms or robes or something? Did I remember
Yeah,
seeing
they were all
a
wearing
pointed star on any of their shit? Thinking back.
Roll a history check.
Can't. I can't. That's an 8.
Ace?
Yeah. Are we in a
Okay.
forest? Wait, that's
You do recall that the body that you guys found when you first went to Valashi was strung up in a very intricate and interesting pattern.
Oh shit. That's 3.
This shit's planned since the beginning.
Okay.
Years ago.
Okay. So it was definitely connected to
It
Vlad.
was probably 4 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
Who
I
knows?
think that was 2 months ago. I think it's been a bit longer.
Okay.
2 years for us, 2 months for them.
About right in movie time. Okay. All right. So we have a vague sort of connection there. It's some to do with the what's her name? Lolth.
Wolf.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have more questions, but Alice and Maddie might. So we'll pick back up with them.
All right. Are we still on?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Well, we will see you guys soon, hopefully. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. I know this was kind of a shorter session, but hopefully it provided some more answers and questions. And we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Hooray!